Nothing.
I wanted to see the floor.
Yeah, because
all right. I'm muting you. I'm muting you. Bob, I'm muting you.
because you're an asshole. Chris, I love you.
I love you too, brother.
All right. No, I wanted to see the floor to MGTOW.BY.LOGIC and have him introduce himself. I feel like I've seen him before, but I can't. I'm sorry, I can't really recall you. MGTOW.BY.LOGIC, are you there?
I am.
Yeah. Can you please speak on? Or if if I could just turn over the floor to you for a second. Can you introduce yourself? Who are you? Where are you from? What do you do for work? What led you to MGTOW? Do you have any good MGTOW? Do you have any red pill or MGTOW type story?
Shut up. Seriously, just let him talk.
Dumb fucking Pola. All right. MGTOW.BY.LOGIC, are you still there?
Yes.
Excellent. Please go ahead.
I live in the northwest of the United States. Lived here my whole life. I have plenty of red pill stories. My first set of education on that, I guess, came from my grandfather and then from Tom Likas listening on the radio in the early mid 90s, back when I was a teenager. So
okay,
I'm
so
married
how old are you? I'm sorry, mid 90s. You were a teenager, so you're in your early to mid 40s.
Correct.
Okay. Go ahead.
I was a teenager in the 90s. Yep. Late 90s. Mid 90s. Yep.
Okay. What do you do for a living, MGTOW.BY.LOGIC?
I've got a bit of a varied background, but it's all basically accounting, finance, real estate.
Excellent.
Is the general areas. I've done forensic accounting. I've worked in the legal field.
Forensic. So forensic accounting, is that where like you're the guy who a lawyer? Okay, so some broad gets divorced and she hires a lawyer, and the lawyer comes to you and says, "We want to take this guy for everything. Find out where his money is."
I could do that, but it's more.
Are you a CPA? Are you university set?
No, I'm not. I'm not a CPA, but I'm not a CPA. No, so I've done more forensic accounting in the world of anti-fraud and trying to investigate fraud.
Oh, insurance and shit. Okay, I consider that a lower level, but that's still okay. That's white collar. That's solid.
Okay, could you instruct us on how to get away with fraud? If hypothetically that was going to be the case. Yes, I could. I have a special certification in fraud, so yeah, I know all about it. I can easily do it. Yep.
Okay. You MGTOW.BY.LOGIC.
Sub to my channel because I want to talk with you.
Yeah, right. No, I definitely want to have more than one conversation. I want to have more than one conversation with you. So MGTOW.BY.LOGIC, have you ever heard? There's an axiom in Chicago. There's a saying we have. It's called a Greek lightning. Have you ever heard of that?
Greek lightning, no.
Okay, that's a colloquialism here in Chicago. That's when, and I say this because Aries Rising, another gentleman in the chat was talking about Greektown. Greektown is a nice, prominent little area in Chicago where there is a large contingent of Greek restaurants, and there's a very vibrant Greek community. Well, Greeks here in Chicago are known for collecting insurance money by somehow, some way, their restaurants accidentally catch fire. Yep. And then they collect the insurance.
Yep.
Have you ever heard of something like that?
Oh yeah. Absolutely. That's just one. That's one of a billion different frauds. Essentially.
Can you talk on that? What is the most common type of fraud that you deal with? What's the least common?
Most common frauds are asset appropriation type frauds. So that's literally just taking something of value that's not yours, but then trying to conceal it in some particular way.
Okay, let me give you an example. So,
like laundering, basically.
It sounds more like theft.
Yeah.
Well, it's a form legally of theft. Let's say I have a motorcycle, and it's all crashed out. It's shitty. But let's say my Mexican uncle stole, or he bought from the dealership the same exact type of motorcycle. Maybe it's got like a different color or something, whatever. But couldn't I switch out the number plate, like from the old motorcycle to the new one, in some sort of like half-baked venture to try to commit fraud? Have you ever seen anything like that?
I've heard of it. There are all kinds of frauds. Anywhere that value can transfer, you can have fraud. So it can be not just money; it can be anything of value. Because you can also have corruption. Basically, you can have favors. Say, if you hire my son, then something. So anywhere that value can transfer.
Okay, so I have a question. I used to be a general contractor, right?
Yep.
And I did a lot of subcontracting.
Yep.
I used to go to the field supervisors, which was the second in command, essentially, of the company that had the primary contract. I would slip them bars of silver. Is that illegal?
Yes.
Because we were told we were not allowed to bribe our the company's staff. That was in like some of the mandates.
Right.
With cash or gifts.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like an in-between, right? So it's totally legal.
Bribery counts, corruption counts, bid rigging counts. It's fraud when you sell somebody something and then you deliver a substandard product and you know that you're doing that. So they pay for a particular... The military, the government has to deal with this all the time, or Boeing, right? They're paying for particular tensile strength on some bolt or something, right? And their subcontractor, if they deliver something that's cheaper at the top dollar rate for what they actually ordered, that's a fraud. All kinds of stuff like that.
So where would mine have fallen in? Because I mean, it's stated in their forms, like if you bribe our managers or anything, it's an immediate dismissal. But technically, I didn't bribe them with currency,
right?
Like legal tender. I gave them actual.
It's still tender. Some kind of an exchange of value.
Yeah. Well, maybe. Could be looked at like that, right?
Yeah.
But how do I make it legal?
Don't get caught.
Okay. Well, I haven't.
There's no real way to make it legal. It's no real way to make it legal. There's also money laundering. There's identity theft. These are all, they all fall under different categories of fraud, basically.
Excuse me.
God, I just want to pick your brain for like the next 5 hours.
This is why I can't always have Polska Bob on my fucking stream, because I really like to have high-minded. Please continue.
Well, if anybody's interested in any more information on it, one of the easiest places to get it is acfe.com. The ACFE is Association of Certified Fraud Examiners. There are something like 80,000 CFEs around the world currently certified. They put out a biennial report. You can get it for free. Just download it from their website. That report is generated by surveys sent out to CFEs once every 2 years, and then the CFE answers the survey based on the highest dollar fraud that they dealt with in the last 2 years. And it's something like 80 or 100 questions we answer back.
So in your experience, I have to ask, is there anything that you've not been able to prove but you knew was essentially an act of fraud? Like a case that you just couldn't quite put the nail into the hole type of deal?
Not for me, and not in the area that I worked in. No. In the area I was in there's so much documentation. It's pretty easy.
Okay.